Welcome to the Magic Hour Talk Show, episode 24? I'm always confused by that. Episode 24, yes it is. I know I said I was going to do something Sunday, but you know, sometimes I look at the news, stuff I want to talk about, and it's just really not that interesting. And then late last night, I see something that got my creative juices flowing. Has nothing to do with film or movies, or I guess film and movies are the same thing. It has nothing to do with television or games or anything. It was a Karen. This woman, now usually I avoid stuff like this because most of the time you only get half of the story. Anytime you see a video like this where somebody's acting crazy, you don't see what happens before the camera started to roll. And I know at least two instances with these Karen videos that the person actually recording the video was in the wrong. One of them was when this guy was in line at Chipotle's or something. It was Chipotle's or Starbucks. And the lady at the cash register told him he was going to have to pay before he ordered anything. And she got fired for that because everybody's just assuming, oh, she's racist. Turns out that guy had been in that same restaurant before and had run out without paying. Which is really ballsy to go back to the same place again after you do something like that. But I guess apparently that happens. So I don't always trust these videos. But in this case, I thought about it so much since I watched it that I just don't see any other way but to side with the guy who took this video. Now, just to set it up a little bit here, as you can see the title, woman falsely accuses black 14-year-old of stealing her phone, gets support from hotel manager, and then it turns up in an Uber. So this woman was in the reception area of this hotel, as far as I can tell. Now, the guy who posted the video saying she checked out actually 3 days before this video was taken, which doesn't make any sense. Why would she be in the reception area of this hotel if she had already checked out 3 days before? I just thought about that, and it doesn't make any sense. I guess the point he was trying to make it is he was actually a paying customer at the time, and he felt like the manager sided with her just because she was a white woman and she wasn't even checked in at the hotel at the time. I think she was checking in because, as you can see in this video, you see some luggage that she's near. So I think what I think happened is, well, let me play the video first, and then we can talk about what I think happened.
Show me this is my phone. Show me. No.
You don't have to explain nothing to her.
Take the case off. That's mine. Literally, get it back, please.
Are you kidding me? You feel like there's only one iPhone made in the world?
No. Okay, then show me the. Show me all my.
You get a life
over there. No, what's on your background?
You better go use find my iPhone. Go do that.
Find my iPhone is on. On now, right
no, you can't. No,
I'm the manager of the hotel.
I don't care.
He will
this
right
is my
now.
son.
Hey,
did you see me just come downstairs out of the fucking elevator?
I'm trying to help.
No, but you're not helping.
I
what
am.
you've been is disrespectful.
No, I'm trying to settle the situation.
My son has nothing to do with her.
No.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the lobby.
Then show me the proof. No, he's not leaving. Show me the proof.
Are you kidding me? You better get on.
I need you away.
Let's go, kid.
I need you away.
I'm sorry.
Better get on. We have what you see two black people.
No, I'm not letting him walk away with my phone.
Wait. Better get on somewhere.
No, please get my phone back. I cannot not have my phone.
Listen, get your ass on.
Wow. Now, and it's funny kind of reading the comments on this video too, because of course, the first thing you see are white people saying, "Why didn't he just comply?" Because if you don't understand what's happening here, this woman, this is what I think happened. So this woman was checking into this hotel. She just got dropped off by Uber. This father and his son they were going to breakfast, continental breakfast. I think his son brushed this woman, and then she looks up, and then she realized she doesn't have her phone. And she just connects in her mind, well, this black kid just brushed into me. He must have just pickpocketed me. That's what I think happened. And have you ever had that feeling? I've had this feeling. I do this all the time. I don't feel my phone in my pocket because I know what my pants feel like when my phone is there. And sometimes it feels like my phone's not there. And and believe me, I'll have the same reaction this woman kind of had in the beginning when I think my phone is missing. It's like, oh my God, my phone is missing. You have everything on there. The problem with that is that usually you're holding your phone. I find that most of the times when I think it's missing, I'm sitting there I look in my hand. Oh, it's in my hand. Or it'll be if I'm wearing a jacket, it'll be in my jacket pocket. And I just put it in there without thinking about it. So I think this is kind of what happened with this woman. She had a freak out, not excusing what she later does, because as you can see, she actually assaulted this guy and his son. She was acting so wild, he had to push her back. Let me bring up that. Right around this time where his phone goes sideways,
My son has nothing to do with her.
No.
I'm trying to figure
Yeah,
out what's
but he
going
has
on
my
in the
phone.
lobby.
Then show me the proof. No, he's not leaving. Show me the proof.
He's not leaving. Do you hear that? He's not leaving. This is, again, when black people talk about white privilege, this is what we're talking about. White people think they have the right to detain black people. And when you hear somebody talking about compliance, usually when you talk about compliance, you're talking about police officers. I comply with police officers. I don't have a problem with that if they give me a lawful order. Problem is, a lot of people, even people who comply, they hear something they think a cop can't do, and they all of a sudden, I'm not doing that. No, if a cop gives you an order, you gotta, unless they tell you to do something that's painfully, obviously not legal. But most of the time I comply with officers. I do not comply with citizens. Just because you're white, you do not have the right to detain me. You don't have the right to frisk me. But when you read the comments, that's some of the first things you see. You see a woman saying, and I'm probably not gonna be able to find it now. But it's another white one. I can't find it now, but a white woman on here says, "Why don't you just show her your phone?" And the people ask her, "What if some random black guy walked up to you and said, show me your phone? I think that's my phone." There's no way a white woman would do that. No white woman would do that for a black man. Why would we do it for a white woman? And I say that as, I feel like I can criticize white women because I'm married to one. Okay, but let me make up a point that I probably didn't mention before. 5 minutes after this happened, the Uber driver shows up and gives the lady back her phone, and she didn't apologize, of course. My thing is, I probably would have showed her my phone, and that has nothing to do with anything. It's just that I'm a dick. And I would have done it just because I would want to see her face when it dawns on her that, you know, she's wrong. I like to see people's face when they're clearly wrong and try to walk it back. Just the fact that she would try to walk it back and justify her actions would be more desirable to me than any accusation. I just love that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would have showed her it. I mean, and here's the thing. Here's another thing I think I should point out. It's almost impossible to steal an iPhone. The only way her phone would have been able to conceivably been stolen by this guy is if she had no security on her phone whatsoever. And if she didn't have any security on that phone, she didn't have a password or Touch ID enabled, or if she's got a newer phone, Face ID, if she didn't have any of that enabled, it's her fault. You should at least have a password on your phone, password protection. 4 digits. How hard is that? So that's the problem I have with her. No one's going to steal your iPhone if you have the least amount of security on it, because it's going to be impossible for them to use it. Even if they power it down, like a lot of thieves used to do, even if they power it down, it's almost, Apple has instituted this security feature where if you power down a phone and you start it back up, you have to put your password in before you can use it. So she's being unreasonable because, I think she assumed, she sees a black kid and just think, oh yeah, he stole my phone. Even though his father would know if that's his phone, which is what I think why the father was so upset. And the manager, I don't really fault the manager. He was just trying to, you have some crazy white woman screaming in your face and you just want to calm her down. And the easiest thing to calm her down would, for that kid, hold up the phone and just show her, look, I got the password. You see this wallpaper? That's my wallpaper. One of the funny things in the video, she, at some point, she tells the kid to take the phone out of the case because that's her phone. Why would this kid have why would this random kid steal your phone and immediately put it in a case? How would they know what model phone you would have and immediately put it in a case? That makes no sense. It makes no sense that he would have the exact case needed for that phone. So, on so many levels, she was wrong. But there's a good picture of her. This picture right here. This is the face of a woman who has never been touched by a man before. I'm not talking about sexual. I'm talking about women have this stupid idea that they can do whatever they want to men and they can't do anything back. But in the real world, that's assault. What she did was assault. And when this guy pushed her back, her face, this is the face of a woman who's never had somebody push her back because of that white privilege. Especially, how dare this black guy? I mean, she's freaking shocked that this guy pushed her. I mean, just look at that look on her face. Oh man, this is just so delicious. Another point that someone else made: why is she wearing sandals? Isn't it? Now it's like 40 degrees in South Carolina right now, which is a lot for us. I think last night or the night before it was like 30 degrees. That's really cold for us. I'm sure it's probably near zero in New York right now. This woman is wearing sandals. That's a white thing. That's definitely a white thing. I only see white people wearing sandals and shorts during the winter. You do see that a lot here because, like I said, our winters can get pretty rough, but they really aren't that harsh. You can get away with wearing whatever you want because, you know, nobody spends a lot of time outside anyway. But I just thought that kind of weird. But yeah, the level of privilege on this woman. Another thing I should note, this guy is this happened to. He's a jazz musician. His name is Kenyon Harold. As it says here, he's a trumpeter who's played with artists like Common, and he actually recorded on a Grammy Award-winning soundtrack for the Miles Davis biopic Miles Ahead. So this guy, he's not a nobody. And yeah, I think this woman is in for a world of hurt because they're gonna find out who she is. But yeah, I just thought this was hilarious. Kind of sad too. She overreacted. Totally overreacted. Okay. Let's move on. Now, I did a video on Coming to America 2. When I put it out, there was only pictures. I think it was on Entertainment Weekly's website. The next day, of course, they released the trailer for the freaking movie. So let's go ahead and watch this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
You must heed my words before I'm gone, my son. Now, you will be king. But the throne must pass to a male heir. Hakim, it appears you have a son. He must be found.
Prepare the royal jet. We are going back to America.
Oh, hell no, Your Majesty.
Come on! I'm back! Say it again! Feel right in this mother... Feel good in this mother... My whole hood in this mother... Come on!
I'm the king of this shop.
That's funny as hell!
Well. Say it again.
It is so good to see you.
Well, I be damn. Look who done come up in here.
Hey, it's Kunta Kinte and Ebola.
Famine and blood diamonds.
Nelson Mandela and Winnie.
Those hungry babies with the flies on the face.
Hey, oh, that's too much now. You stepped over the line. Now, we won't be talking that kind of shit about the hungry babies. You're going to have to get out of my chair.
Politically incorrect.
So what you doing back here, Hotel Rwanda?
I'm back! Say it again! Feel good? Bang!
March 5th? Why we gotta wait so long for this freaking movie? I'm in though. What did I say? What did I say in my video? Wesley Snipes is playing the African. I knew that. I knew it. Why is he wearing a kilt?
I'm the king of this shop.
Oh my God. Let's go through it a little bit. Of course, I remember this opening from the original movie. Remember this opening with the palace? Oh God, if you go back and look at that opening, it is so much. It looks so fake compared to this because the technology has gotten so much better. Oh my God. Wow. It looks like a real place. I'm so happy James Earl Jones is still alive. Look at this golden, golden Cessna with his father's face on it. There is actually an African nation that's rich. I think it's Botswana. Is it Botswana? It's a country right above South Africa. There was a movie about it. And I forget the guy's name. Oh. It was that white actress from Gone Girl. Let me look it up real quick. She did a movie because the ruler of this kingdom actually married a white woman, but he was living in Britain. Gone Girl. Rosamund Pike. Oh gosh, she's gorgeous. Wow, she's done a lot of movies. A United Kingdom, that's what it is. She did this movie, Botswana, the story of King Saritsi Kwama of Botswana and how his loving but controversial marriage to a British white woman, Ruth Williams, put his kingdom into political and diplomatic turmoil. So, yeah, this coming to America is not totally outlandish. There are some freaking African countries that are freaking. This country had a lot of minerals and stuff, the way I understand it. But the British government was like a protectorate of the government or of the country. So it caused a lot of problems because Churchill was playing politics with the issue. And anyway, I recommend you see the movie. Really love Rosamund Pike. She is freaking hot. She's just gorgeous. So yeah, there is precedence for that kind of story. So anyway, moving on. It's just like everything that I covered in my last talk show has been updated in some way, either with this Coming to America trailer or this Leah Remini slamming Tom Cruise for his COVID-19 outburst. Several celebrities and observers came to Tom Cruise's defense this week after leaked audio captured the actor castigating crew members for breaking COVID-19 safety protocols on the set of Mission Impossible 7. However, Leah Remini criticized Cruise in a lengthy statement published Wednesday, claiming his outburst was a publicity stunt and calling him an abusive person. Tom's reaction shows his true personality, Remini wrote in a statement published on an anti-Scientology blog, The Underground Bunker. He is an abusive person. I witnessed it. I've been a recipient of it on a small level, and I've been told of similar abuse by his former girlfriend, his employees, and his friends. This is the real Tom. Tom does not care about the families of his crew. This is all for publicity, Remini continued. I would bet that Tom had this rat written for him and had his Scientology assistant had his Scientology assistant record and release it. Hearing a rich actor with enormous power address his crew in this way is a sign of weakness and a deeply troubled person. I totally disagree with what she's saying. First of all, there is no way that Tom Cruise released something negative about himself. If you know anything about Tom Cruise, his whole persona is 100% positive. He would never knowingly release something like this to put him in a bad light. Secondly, and I should have brought this out when I covered this last week. This was obviously not the first time he had discussed this issue with his crew. If you go back and listen to what he's saying to everybody, he pretty much, his patience had been tried up to that point, as happens with anybody. You see somebody repeatedly do something and you're nice about it the first dozen times, and then they do it again, and then you just blow up. I think that's what happened. That's what it seemed like to me listening to that recording. So I don't think it's some kind of situation where he's being abusive, and this is just indicative of who he is as a person on set. And from what I've heard from a lot of people, even people who didn't have a good experience with him. Give you an example. Oh God, I'm so bad with names. There was a woman. What's her name? She was on Mission Impossible 2. She was talking about how Tom Cruise was pretty much under pressure on that movie, and even though he was under a lot of pressure because he's producer on these movies, so a lot of times the success of these movies are on his shoulder. But I remember her saying in this interview that even though he was upset with her performance a couple of times, Thandi Newton, that's her name. Even though he was kind of upset with her, he was still really nice about it. So I just don't believe that he's this abusive person that... I know Leah Remini, she's really down on Scientology because she was in it for so many years, and she feels like she got conned. And they of course they always go after people that leave their church. I understand why she feels the need to come out against them, but I just don't believe some of the stuff she's saying. It doesn't make sense from what I know about Tom Cruise, and it just feels like he was in the right as a producer. And I probably should have made this point better last time. But as a producer, he's pretty much, I compared him to a manager at Starbucks. He's not a manager at Starbucks. If you use that analogy, he's more like the owner of a Starbucks getting upset. A manager will probably be fired for an outburst like that. Maybe, possibly. I've had managers yell at me when I had lesser jobs. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but an owner definitely can lose his temper like that. And there's nothing you can do about it because he owns the business. And that's essentially what Tom Cruise, where he is in the hierarchy. So yeah, I just don't. I'm not believing what Leah Remini is saying here. It's nah. Once again, I support everything he said during that little rant. Okay, moving on. John Mulaney enters rehab for cocaine and alcohol abuse. When I saw this, I was absolutely floored. This guy, he looks, and if you've seen any of his comedy specials, he's the most vanilla dude. I can't fathom. I can't see this guy doing cocaine. He actually, alcohol, yes. I've known some pretty straight-laced white guys who became alcoholics. But cocaine, I guess that's just something in showbiz that you come across. John Mulaney has entered rehab, according to multiple outlets. The news first broke Monday with a Page 6 report that the 38-year-old, that guy's 38 years old. He looks like a freaking child. That the 38-year-old comedian checked into a Pennsylvania rehab facility over the weekend for 60 days of treatment for alcohol and cocaine addiction. The former Saturday Night Live writer and recent SNL host has long been open about his struggle to stay sober, really, having started drinking at a very young age before later abusing prescription and illegal drugs. And it's a quote, "I stopped drinking when I was 23. I kind of started when I was 13, so it was a 10-year run. Wow. I say wow because, not because it's kind of crazy that I know a lot of middle-class kids who get into drinking. That's just something that happens. I'm saying wow because I didn't even start drinking till my late 20s, and then not even heavily. I didn't really start having a problem with drinking. I had a problem for maybe a couple months after my mom died. I was starting to hit that bottle every freaking day, and I had to stop at a certain point. But I was a lot older than him. I just put it that way. So that's why I said wow. But I just became a bad, annoying, drunk child. So when I stopped, I had done a lot of things I wasn't proud of, but I was also 23, so it wasn't like a life-changing burden to carry around. It was like, oh boy, I did a lot of things wrong. I did a live What the F with Mark Maron and Janine Garofalo, and they're like, you're not an alcoholic, we're alcoholics. I was like, you'd be the worst sponsors anyone could ever have. And they're like, you drank a lot when you were young. It's funny and it's a little true. I feel like I'm not giving you a focused answer here. Yes, totally. I was embarrassed by the way I had behaved. And I was embarrassed by the person I was when I drank a lot and was tearing it up. Now, it sounds like to me that he was an angry drunk. I'm, just for the record, a happy drunk. It was fun to get it out there and own the fact that I was trying this. But yes, it was fun to talk about blacking out a lot. I still go back to it. I haven't got over the phenomenon that there are days that I don't know what I did. It's a little scary, but very funny. I talk about that a lot. That really did throw me. I did feel good to address it. It did feel good to address it. So, okay, I didn't know he had these problems. Then he gave another interview about it to Esquire. I drank for attention. I was really outgoing. And then at 12, I wasn't. I didn't know how to act. And then I was drinking and I was hilarious again. I wasn't a good athlete, so maybe it was some young male thing of this is the physical feat I can do. Okay, I can actually see that. 3 Vicodin and a tequila, and I'm still standing. Who's the athlete now? Okay. Mulaney went on to explain what drove him to get sober. I went on a bender that weekend that was just like fading in and out of a movie. It was just crazy. I was like, you're effing out of control, he told Esquire. And I thought to myself, I don't like this guy anymore. I'm not rooting for him. John's friends and family are happy that he's finally getting some help and focusing on his health. A source told Page 6 on Monday of Mulaney, who recently became a staff writer on the Late Night with Seth Meyers and was cast opposite Andy Samberg as one of the title characters in Disney's Chip and Dale reboot. His fans know he's struggling in the past with sobriety. He has talked about it openly. Unfortunately, he has struggled again during the pandemic. He's on board with his recovery. He's not fighting against rehab. So, let me just say, one thing that really resonated with me was how he was talking about blacking out. I drank some. What did I drink? Oh, I forget the name of the drink. It's called Fireball or something like that. Fire. I think it's Fireball. I had a glass. I had a little shot. I had a glass of Fireball about this big with ice in it, but no chaser, unless you consider ice the chaser. I just drunk it down, and like hours later, I woke up. I don't remember anything. I completely blacked out. The last thing I remember was taking that drink, and then hours later waking up. I wasn't even in the same room where I blacked out. I was in my bedroom, and I live in a 2-story house, so somehow I got from downstairs to upstairs, and I don't even remember doing it. And when that happened, I think I did have a freaking change as far as drinking was concerned. I was like, no, I can't keep doing this, because that scared the hell out of me. The fact that I didn't, there are hours that are completely missing in my memory after I drunk that Fireball. So yeah, I can totally understand he's talking about freaking out about something like that. What if I had hurt somebody or killed somebody? I would have no defense because I wouldn't remember what I did. That stuff freaked me out. Freaks me out to this day. So I hope he gets the help he needs. I can understand him hitting the bottle during a pandemic, because there have been some days I was so bored. I mean, there have been days I was so bored. I went out driving. Just start driving around. You can't get out because, you can get the virus walking around. But I would just drive. I was so bored. And then that got boring. But, I work at home too, so that kind of helped me with my problem. But yeah, I hope he gets the help he needs. He's a pretty cool guy, based on what I know. I mean, I only know him from his comedy. That whole skit he does about Law and Order, I can watch that thing over and over again. The one he does about, let me look it up. I might get a copyright strike for this. No, the one, okay. Specifically the one about Ice-T.
So there was this episode I saw a while ago that was about sex addiction, because a lot of celebrities had come out as sex addicts. So the episode's about sex addiction. There is a scene in the episode where the other detectives are trying to teach Ice-T what sex addiction is, and it takes a couple of minutes. And finally, Ice-T gets it, and they cut to him in this close-up, and he goes, "Oh, I get it. You mean like when someone drinks too much, or snorts cocaine, or bets the house on the ponies?" I was like, yeah, you got it, man.
Oh, God, that's funny. Oh, get well, John Mulaney. We need you back. Last thing I'll talk about is we're about 47 minutes in. Elon Musk says he wants to sell Tesla to Apple, but Tim Cook, what is wrong with me, wouldn't take the meeting. Now, this isn't surprising. This kind of stuff happens all the time. I wanted to discuss this because I read two different articles about the same thing for some reason, and there are totally two different takes on what happened. I think at The Verge, it's really matter of fact. In 2017, Tesla was still hemorrhaging money and had not yet produced an electric vehicle at high volume. And right here, Elon Musk says, during the darkest days of the Model 3 program, I reached out to Tim Cook to discuss the possibility of Apple acquiring Tesla. He refused to take the meeting. Would it have been cool if Apple had bought Tesla? Yes and no. Yes, because hindsight is 2020. Of course they should have bought it. If they had a crystal ball, of course they should have bought it, because we know what happens. I mean, it's easy to say that now, but at the time, no. Apple doesn't have anything to do with cars except for their CarPlay software. So why would they want to buy a car? Cars are a low volume business for the most part. To make it worth their while, Apple would have easily charged $100,000 minimal for their cars. So on that hand, I don't think it would have been wise, because I don't think, not that Tesla is any cheaper, but I think you can get a Tesla for like a minimum of like 30,000, I believe. I might be wrong about that, or maybe 50,000. But I don't think Apple would have ever sold a car that cheaply. So yes and no. When you come to ask me whether I thought it was a good idea, probably not. It probably wouldn't have worked. Which is ironic because now I hear that Apple's actually working on a car, and it's gotten past the rumor stage. It's actually there's a lot of evidence that they're doing this. There's been vehicles cited of them testing out their because they wanted to. They got autonomous software running on these vans that they sent out, so they're doing something with cars. Maybe it's not a car, but from what I've heard in these articles in particular, they're using right here. It says according to Reuters, Apple has been developing a lithium iron phosphate battery that can be packaged more tightly in the car's battery pack, cutting down the weight while increasing the potential energy density. And Musk pointed out on Twitter on Tuesday that Tesla is already using iron phosphate batteries in some of the cars it's making in China. So, and of course, Elon Musk joked that we've swapped a lot of talent over the last decade. When rumors of an Apple car first emerged in 2015, Musk joked that Apple was a Tesla graveyard. If you don't make it at Tesla, you go work at Apple. I'm not kidding, he said. So, yeah, this article on The Verge makes him sound like this genius and whatnot. And strange thing about Elon Musk, and I think I've said this before, he's not a self-made guy, and I thought he was. He actually inherited a lot of his money from his father, like a lot of these guys. And he did not even start Tesla. And I'm saying this because this Gizmodo article, not only is the picture of him not flattering, but they just dog him in this article. Let me go ahead and read this. But the way The Verge covers Elon Musk and the way Gizmodo covers him is totally different, like night and day. Electric car maker Tesla is soaring high with a 606.9 billion market cap and a stock price that's up 813% this year. But Elon Musk really wanted to sell the company to Apple back in the days when Tesla was struggling. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple since 2011, wouldn't even sit down for a meeting with Musk to discuss the possibility. At least that's the story according to Musk. During the darkest days of the Model 3 program, I reached out to Tim Cook to discuss the possibility of acquiring Tesla for 1/10 of the current value. He refused to take the meeting, Musk tweeted on Tuesday. Those darkest days are likely sometime in 2018 when Musk's company struggled to meet production goals for the Model 3. It was a difficult time for Musk and Tesla with terrible reports of autopilot failures, investigations into unsafe working conditions, and some old-fashioned union busting for good measure. And Musk's troubles that year weren't limited to the Model 3. He risked his security clearance with SpaceX and the Air Force after he was seen smoking weed on John Rogan's podcast. This is something that Verge never mentioned in their article. Randomly called some guy a pedophile. Another thing that The Verge didn't mention. Got hit with class action lawsuits over his weird tweets. Announced a high-speed tunnel in Chicago that went nowhere. And was even sued by the SEC. You get the drift of what they're trying to say here? Musk is a piece of garbage, but pretty much what they're saying. Musk was desperate for cash to float Tesla several times over the past decade and turned to a number of different sources when he needed money. And Apple was far from the first big-name tech company that didn't have any real interest in buying Tesla. As The Guardian notes, Google co-founder Larry Page almost bought Tesla during a handshake deal back in April of 2013, according to the 2015 biography of Musk, Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the Quest for a Fantastic Future by Ashley Vance. The asking price was $8 billion, according to the book, but Musk wanted to remain head of the company for at least 8 years and get $5 billion to expand Tesla factory, something that apparently didn't appeal to Google's lawyers. Musk didn't actually create Tesla, despite the popular perception that he did. The company was founded in 2003 by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, and Musk first invested in the company in 2004, though the billionaire still calls himself a co-founder. Eberhard and Tarpenning were pushed out of the company by Musk in the late 2000s, and Eberhard sued the SpaceX co-founder. Musk did actually create that one for libel and breach of contract. The lawsuit was settled for that undisclosed amount. Tesla is currently doing very well financially, becoming the latest company to enter the S&P 500, but we think Apple will survive without Tesla. Yes, Apple is still working on an autonomous car set for 2024, according to new report out of this week. But even without a car, Apple is raking in historic profits. Apple posted revenue of $64.7 billion in the last quarter alone, even during an economic downturn and a horrific pandemic. Apple will probably be just fine for the foreseeable future, but that doesn't mean Tim Cook isn't kicking himself. Now, just to be clear, Gizmodo has no reason to like Apple. In fact, I think it wasn't Gizmodo the company that found that, or was it Gawker? I think it was Gizmodo. They found the prototype iPhone 4 and posted it on their website, and of course, Apple had the cops like break down the door of one of the writers. So they have no love for Apple, but did they bash Elon Musk and take him down a couple pegs. And I kind of admire Elon Musk, but then they reminded me of why he's not really a good guy. He's actually, I think I did a show with Curtis a long time ago, and we discussed Elon Musk, and I said something about him being crazy, particularly for thinking that high-speed tunnel thing was going to work. I got in an argument with a guy at work about that stupid tunnel that he was building in Las Vegas. A tunnel is not innovative. I don't care what anybody says. But this guy at work was convinced that, he said, one day every city in America will have tunnels, and you'll be able to take tunnels everywhere, and it's going to cut out traffic. Like, how is it going to cut out traffic when it's a one-car tunnel? If you have a bunch of cars in that tunnel and just one breaks down, guess what? Everybody is screwed. Unlike the highway system where you can just put a car over on the median or the side of the road and everybody can keep going. I just thought it was ridiculous that this guy thought a tunnel was like innovative. And the guy's just a goofball. He's done so many goofy things. I mean, just the fact that he called that guy a pedophile because he got... that was when those kids got caught in that cave in, what was it, Singapore or something. And this white guy who lived in Singapore was actually trying to help them because he was a diver. And Elon Musk sent this like little sub thing that he had his engineers create really quickly. And the guy said something about it being useless. And Elon Musk got mad because how dare this guy, and there's one of my cats coming in. How dare this guy insults me, Elon Musk. And of course the guy sued him. He lost the suit, but still. I just think Elon Musk is full of himself. I mean, if he was a self-made man, I just don't. I can't bring myself to admire somebody that inherited all their wealth. Even though he's created like 3 companies. Even then. I mean, I admire him a little bit. But it'd be much more admirable if he had done it all by himself. And that he has actually created Tesla, which he didn't do. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I can't wait to see this Apple car. I know it's going to be hideously expensive. It's just going to be hilarious to see the reaction of people when that car comes out, because oh my God, there are some people that absolutely hate Apple. I mean, even though back in the past you could legitimately say that Apple was a paper tiger, but you can't say that anymore. They are like I think they're worth like $2 trillion or something. It's ridiculous. They are the most successful company of all time. It's just, they are not that company that everybody knew in the early 2000s when they were still struggling. They are a phenomenal company. I got so many freaking pieces of technology in my house made by Apple. I mean, this computer right here. I bought this computer in 2009. And as you can see, it doesn't even look old. It looks like, it basically looks the same as the day I bought it. And I've only had one thing fail on it, and that was the video card, which Apple promptly replaced for, I think, but they charged me like $400, but still. This computer is just freaking fine as the day I bought it. Never had any trouble with it except for that video card. I mean, they just make, and it's beautiful. It's still, you get a PC from freaking 11 years ago, and it looks like a piece of crap. I just got so many I probably got 7 iPhones. I got 4 Apple TVs. One of them I don't use because it's just so old. But 4 Apple TVs, 7 iPhones. I got these earbuds because a lot of people don't know, but Apple owns Beats. I got my wife has some Beats. I just bought her the pink kind. Same brand, but they're pink. My daughter has a freaking she has those earbuds, the pro ones. I got an iPad. Yeah, I got a lot of Apple stuff. Never had a laptop though. Thinking about getting one. Yeah, but that's about it. That's all I got for today. Yeah, that was fun. I would like to thank my subscribers. Encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to my Twitch channel, go ahead and subscribe. I don't have any subscribers. I have 1 subscriber. But I just started. But if you're not a subscriber already, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and go over to Paul Chappell on YouTube and subscribe there. Also, I have a gaming channel called Power Up. Please, if you just want the gaming part of my channel, just sign up for Power Up. I'm not going to get mad at you. That's why it's there. But if you want everything that I produce, you can pretty much sign up on my YouTube channel. Give me a comment, like or dislike. And of course, ring that bell so you know when my next video drops. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.